Hi everyone, this is HKChess here, and in this video we're going to cover endgame number 8 of the book 100 Endgame You Must Know. So in this endgame, we have rook versus knight at the edge of the board. When fighting the rook, knight can be a bit harder than bishop. Nevertheless, most positions are still a draw. The key point in rook versus knight is to not separate the knight from the king. If the knight is separated, then the knight can be lost. In this position, white has only two moves, either king f1 or knight f2 check. If king f1, rook a1 will pin the knight, and then once we go back to defend the knight, king c2 will win the knight on the spot. So that's not an option. Knight f2, king e3, knight d1 check. If king back, then we're happy to repeat and get a draw. If not, now white has two options, either king f1 or knight c3. Basically, these two options will result in the same position if played accurately. So if king f1, then rook e2, not letting the king back to the knight, and we're gonna play knight c3, threatening the rook, and once the rook moves with something like this, then we're gonna go back and here, and this is just fine. So the other option is to play knight c3 right away, and rook c2, threatening the knight, and the correct move here is to just go back with the knight and not separate the king and the knight, and just say everything is fine, there is nothing to be worried about, and in fact, there is nothing to be worried about. The only thing black can do is to just give a check, king f1, go back, threatening checkmate. Again, there is nothing. If rook h1 check, then king d2, and that's it. Goes back, king f1, rook c1, king e1, and that's it. There is nothing to be worried about here. If we said that we shouldn't separate the knight and the king, but what happens if we do? Let's say you're playing this side with the rook, and your opponent doesn't know about this endgame and just puts the knight on the open field. How do you take care of that knight? So in this position, rook c2, if knight tries the open field with something like knight d5, then the thing you have to be careful, you have to do, is to limit the squares the knight can jump into. So with a move such as rook c4, you will take care of these squares, like these are all the squares that then I can jump into, and these are covered, and only these three remain. If knight f6, then rook d4, again limiting. These are all the squares, and half of these squares are covered. So black tries to capture the knight with the king. Knight f7, we're just gonna march our king. We're just gonna march it, we don't even care. And now we play rook d7. This is the only square, and now rook f7. All of these four squares are covered, knight is trapped. If in this position white plays knight b6, then we again want to harass the knight, and now knight cannot go back any longer, because if white plays knight d5, then we're going to give a check, and if king d1, we're gonna win the knight. Or if king f1, we again want to play rook d4, threatening checkmate and the knight, because these three squares are covered by the king. So the knight is lost, basically. There is this move, of course, but then again, rook g3, and that's it. That's the whole idea. Knight b4, the only square to continue the game. Knight c8. Now we again want to limit the squares and I can jump into. Only four squares. These three are covered by the rook, and now only this remains, but this is again indirectly defended by this tactic. So now this is threatened. Once the knight moves, this is checkmate. So white is going to lose the knight. And if not that, if white wants to go here, then there is no way white can catch the knight, and black is going to capture the knight, and that's it. So that's the whole idea behind this endgame. So once again, the main line after check, king e2, knight d1 check, king f3, and knight c3, rook c2, go back with the knight, don't separate the knight with the king, and everything is fine. And this is the whole endgame. This is endgame number 8. In the next video, we're going to cover endgame number 9. And that's it. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.